What up, world? And this is why you have a chance to break them down like you does.
Yeah.
You know, like system.
BTR boxing.
And boxing with Jeff. It's a podcast. What up, world? Thank you for joining us on another episode of our podcast. This is BTR Boxing and Boxing with Jeff. And we are your co-hosts for the evening. This is Manny Man, BTR, and I am Boxing with Jeff. So, let's get to it. We're going to get to a recap of not last week's, but the week before that, fight week. So, let's get it.
All right, first let's start about the atmosphere. Times Square, what were your thoughts?
Cap to the world. Should have showed it to everybody, but they didn't. And, like I said, as far as the setup, it was cool. But again, cap, because they played everybody saying it was free and it was to the public, and it really wasn't. It was only to like 50, 55 people.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the things too. You expected it to be wide open, then you see the big old tarps. Pretty much nobody can see.
Yep.
So that was the only negative, which also took away a little bit from the atmosphere because it made it too quiet around the fight.
Yeah.
Instead of hearing the crowd.
Used to hearing that crowd,
yeah. It kind of was a little quiet, kind of like, unfortunately, back in the
and what made
days.
it even worse was like when they were showing like the in between the fights and they were showing the crowd on the outside of the barricade.
Yeah.
That was blocked off, and I was like, what the hell?
That would have been a whole better atmosphere.
But
I guess, maybe next time. But other
next
than
time
that,
it'll be free to the public.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, they will play you. But and think about people that probably flew out to New York, that went to go visit, and like, hey, I'm gonna come out there for the fight.
Right.
They're gonna give it to us for free. It'd be dope to see a fight and just enjoy New York.
Psych.
They played them.
Yeah.
They played them. So.
They did. They did. I agree with that.
Yep.
But I guess it is what it is. Other than that, first fight on the card was Teofimo and Barboza. What were your thoughts on that fight?
It wasn't really a fight, I shall say. Teofimo looked all goofy, trying to do all those little moves that he usually does, and it wasn't the takeover, But whatever.
Yeah, to me, I mean, first I thought Barboza was going to come with a little bit more.
That too. Yeah, I thought he kind of disappointed me.
Right. That I think that was the main thing. Like I expected more from him.
You know what I mean? Underestimated Teofimo's energy. As far as him, as far as him being on the orthodox and moving like that, and not stand still. So that probably was a lot to do with it too. His output of punches was horrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
that fight was what it was.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, like you said, I thought Teofimo could have done better, especially since Barboza didn't show up. I thought he could have tried to go for the close.
Easy knockout.
He should have, right?
Should have been.
But I guess a 12-round decision was good enough.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I don't think it was too much as far as the eventful in that fight.
Yeah.
So let's go to the second fight, which was Ramirez and Devin, the lawsuit Haney.
Oh, Devin ran in Haney? I didn't see him do nothing but run. And he was on that back pedal, and Ramirez was like looking so old in there. I was like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
I didn't think he did enough running, but for 12 rounds, he did enough. If he didn't get that cardio in, he got it in for sure.
I mean, to me, as soon as the bell rang, it looked like he was still in shock of the last fight. You know what I mean? Bell rang and he goes in defense mode. He's running, he's backpedaling. It's not that he's boxing off the back foot. No, he's running. Literally running in the ring. I don't think I've seen something like that ever in boxing. Like, he was literally running in the ring.
Horrible.
Even when he exchanged, it was maybe a jab, 2 jab at the most, got out, running again,
Yeah.
And then Ramirez, it seemed like Ramirez just couldn't get a shot off. He just wouldn't pull the trigger. Like, throw a punch, throw something.
That's where it just shows you age is a factor in boxing.
Yeah.
And talk is cheap.
Yeah.
On both of their parts.
On both of them. It was disappointing on both. Yeah.
So there ain't too much to talk about on that one.
No, very disappointing as far as both, I agree. So,
But we will get into the main fight of that night, which was, it was Rollie weekend. Rollie. Second round knockdown. King Rollie down. Ryan Garcia not throwing punches how he should. I thought he was gonna come out with that blister and speed and look real sharp. He always looks good when he trains, you know. But I always tell people the bags don't hit you back. So it's a different thing when you got some full force coming at you. And Rollie just kept popping that, kept putting the pressure on him, doing what he had to do to win. And I was impressed. And hey, shout out to Team Rollie, bro.
I mean,
Like I said, I like King Rollie, so.
I mean, I think in the preview, I think we were kind of dead on as far as what we expected with Rollie.
Oh, that's for
he
sure.
showed it. He showed it.
Yeah.
With the as far as coming up at 147, he carried the power.
And I did say, if he catches him.
Yeah.
He got
Which
him.
he did. He caught him. He caught him, and from there, the fight was basically over. From there, it was Ryan on defense mode, not trying to get caught.
Yeah, Ryan did. He lost that juice, and you know,
I mean,
he did way more.
Flat.
And,
He looked flat.
Yeah, super.
He looked flat in the performance, and then I mean, not to take away from Rollie, because I think it was a little bit of a mixture of both. It was Rollie looking great and Ryan looking awful.
Oh, most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Which made it a Rollie weekend.
Yeah.
And he deserved it. Three-time division champion.
Yeah.
Shout out. So,
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to give that kid respect, right? They keep talking about him in the negative manner, but like you said, I mean,
he's interesting. He's
3 division.
He can fight. He got power. Tanks even said that. I'm pretty sure Ryan's gonna say that now.
Well, his record shows it.
And his record does show
His record
that,
shows
you know
it.
what I mean?
13 knockouts. I mean, that's. I mean.
Hey, and I get it. He's not a quitter, so I give him that. You know, getting knocked out is one thing, but you know, you quitting flat out, he don't do that.
No.
So
he's entertaining.
most definitely.
He's entertaining. I mean,
I can't wait to see what he got in the store at this
Right.
week. So
right, and then the fact that he not only that both performances were so flat on Ryan and Haney that they threw away that whole event.
yeah,
Basically, that
To
whole event was set
rematch.
up for the rematch.
for the to boost that
Yeah,
up.
to boost it up.
And I was like, it was just a fail. And even Turkey was mad, like, oh my God, Rollie just came in, just destroyed the party, and he did. You know, it's boxing. You can't predict it. You can sometimes, you know, just depending on what type of fight it's going to be in, who the fighters are, to where you can be like, oh, he's going to knock him out, you know, and really get that knockout. But other than that, it's literally like a coin flip in the air because it just takes one punch. You could be a fighter that only got a gang output of punches and then just land that one shot. And like I said, let me just take for example, and not to go off topic, but the Marquez and Pacquiao, it took him that long to get the knockout, and he finally got it.
Timing.
So
Timing
for
on
sure.
that, you know.
And you can
Eventually
tell
you're gonna
Manny
get.
was, that was.
Eventually you're gonna catch your opponent's timing, you know. But as far as
Excuse me.
but that's a good example because that's the thing we had brought up also on the preview is that Rollie and Ryan know each other off the ring. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
So that counts as well. Like you could tell that was a nice timed left hook on Rollie's counter.
And a
part.
double hook at that. Not
Right.
just one. He caught him.
He knew what he was
twice
doing.
before, Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
That was dope.
Right.
That
It's
was
obvious that he knew Ryan. So
Yeah.
you got to give it to Rollie. I thought with the performance, you know, and then him coming up with the power, and then being able to win a decision so decisively. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody expected that, right?
At 147.
He won a
He
decision.
was solid. That weight
Against a boxer.
carried with him, and he's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, someone to look for at 147.
Yeah, 147. Hope to see the future endeavors be great for you, Rollie Roll,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure they will. Like I said, 3 division champion. You a champion, so
Yeah.
you ain't no interim holding. So
Yep.
let's get it.
Yep. So that was Friday. Let's go to Saturday. Canelo and Skull for undisputed.
First, let's talk about the Martin Bacoli and Ethan Jagba.
Yes, in that card. Yes.
That was interesting because seeing how Bacoli did what he did with Jared Anderson is that Gabby be like, dang, this guy is a problem.
No problem.
Goes and gets slept by Parker and then has this performance. Excuse me, again. Goes on and has this performance. And, you know, I'm kind of just going to sit back a little bit on Bacoli, you know, as far as me predicting him trying to win. And, you know, let's see what he does when he goes back to the drawing board with his team because he needs to come down on the weight
Yes.
and actually go out there to be out throwing punches because that was so horrible. He looked tired by the second round.
That's what I was going to bring up. I mean, the fact that he came in at almost 300 pounds. I mean, were you even training?
It just shows that sometimes when you know you're fighting another fighter that has power, you want to put that weight on because you're scared. You know, you want to just be able to take that punch.
It could have been that
But
too.
it just defeat him in both ways.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
such a bad
he
man.
couldn't put out no punches himself.
Slow.
And
Yeah.
he was just super slow.
Yeah, he was slow.
Super slow.
So let
It
down.
was worse than the Joseph Parker fight. So
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he does, but back to drum with him for sure.
Effin Jogba, good win.
Yeah.
And also Team Effin. So
Yeah.
now let's get on to Canelo and Skull. Yo, no, for Undisputed. Everybody says, Skull was there to survive, which that could have been the case. But I think in his defense, he probably was like, I'm just trying to win, and this is the way I'm going to try to win. It wasn't the best way going about it. But again, he's like, hey, I'm not going to get knocked out. I'm going to, frustrate this dude like he did, because Canelo was just, there's times where he was just putting his hands down, like, well, what are we doing? And, it was what it was. Canelo, did what he did. He let another man survive. He should have really slept him. And, that's kind of my take on it.
I mean, to me, yes, Skull was running. But at the same time, at some point, you expect the Canelo to take a step to the side. Cut the ring off.
Yeah, cut it. Yeah, cut
you know
the
what I
ring
mean?
off.
The guy's running.
He didn't cut it off at all.
Cut the ring off.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the time that he did crack him, Skull was still like, he felt it. But he was just like, hey, okay, I'm going to still keep moving, though.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to him for, for just being in there and just, going with the Undisputed champ. So
he survived. Yeah, he survived with 12 rounds. That was his ultimate goal.
A survivor.
Yeah, he survived for 12 rounds. As far as performance, you gotta blame both. You can't just blame Skull. At some point, you as a champ, you gotta step it up.
That's where Canelo should have just put it full pedal to the metal.
Step to the side and
just
go for the kill.
Just win, yeah.
Yeah,
nothing to lose and everything, just a game for that. So.
Yeah. So it is what it is. He got the belt. He's undisputed 2-time now. Which they went ahead and made the official announcement for Crawford and Canelo for September
13th.
13 now.
They saying Elegant Stadium. Now they saying somewhere in New York. So
maybe LA.
Yeah, maybe LA. Who knows?
Yeah, but at least we're getting the fight.
Yeah, we getting the fight. We got the fight date. So now it's just a location. But it's like, why give us a fight date if you don't got a location?
Yeah, it just seemed kind of a little weird. I don't get that.
And then bouncing. Because before it was Vegas for sure. So I think he should just stick to Vegas.
It's gonna have to be Vegas because he also said that Dana White's gonna help him promote the fight.
And it makes sense in that big old stadium.
Right.
Come on, for this type of fight, you don't need it there.
Right, and then that Saturday, I believe UFC has a fight card that weekend too. So Dana White's gonna be in Vegas no matter what that Saturday.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of weird to expect Dana White in two places at once. I don't know how you're gonna pull that off.
That's true.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying probably Vegas just because of that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, I guess the fight September 13th.
We're gonna get it, so that's the most important.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Until further details and more updates, we'll talk about that. But let's get into this past weekend. This past Saturday. We had Eric Lubinson versus Holmes Jr. TKO in the 11th round. Lubin looked like he back. He ready to go. 154. Mandatory for Bachman's belt. For the fight as far as the aspects of what I've seen. Chopping the big man down. And then they just got that stoppage.
Yeah, he got the stoppage, 11th round.
He had that power.
Yeah,
Holmes was surviving, doing what he had to do, popping his little jab. It just wasn't enough.
Lubin did what he had to do. He got the victory, got the stoppage.
Well, most definitely got the stoppage.
Got his title shot.
No matter what round it is, he still took him out. So some people don't take out people until the 12th round.
Right.
So, and that was a good win for T. Lubin. Good hammer, man. Hammer time. So that was cool.
Yeah, good for him. So he's back. So we'll see what happens with him now. With, like you said, the mandatory title shot for the IBF, I believe. So good luck to him to see what he does.
Eliminator, mandatory. So that's for sure. He's going for that title shot next. So let's get that going for sure.
Right. And then speaking of,
got it in the works.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. And then as far as the same Saturday, Top Rank had a card. Navarrete fighting in San Diego, defending his title at 130. Came out with the cut, second round. They're calling it controversy, 8th round stoppage because of the cut. Now, as far as the controversy, they're saying controversy because the reason for the cut. which it does matter by rule because if you're cut by a headbutt, it goes to the cards.
Right.
If you're cut with the punch, it's a TKO stoppage. You lost.
Sure is.
So it
We
is
don't
a
make
big
the rules, people.
right. I mean,
We
at the
don't
end of the
make-
day, the fighters don't make the rules either. So
Nope.
that's on the referee.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the referee called it a headbutt. Headbutt it is. Headbutt it was called. Decision at
And
the
the
end of
only
the
one
day.
stopping it is the ref or the doctors if they sees, not fit to fight.
Yep.
And, he wasn't, fit to continue to fight, so they had to do what they had to do, and it was what it was. So.
Right. So, I mean, by rule, it is what it is. You want to blame someone, talk to the referee. At the end of the day, he got his decision. I guess he keeps his belt.
And they run it back.
Yeah, run it back if it's that bad.
Yeah, if that's how everybody feels, if, feeling anybody got robbed or anything like that. So
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess it is what it is there. We'll see
I
what
didn't
happens.
really watch it. Like I said, I just heard about it too much and was just looking at it, like looking at the highlights and stuff and after. But
I mean, I watched the fight. I mean, to be honest, I'll be honest
I've
with
probably
you.
seen like a few little snippets, but for the most part, I was like keeping up what was going on during the fight.
I'll be honest with you. It's not one of those fights I want to see again.
Oh, see? Well, there we go. There we go, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
It's
not even
over.
mad that I did see it. So
It's over. You get the belt. Moving forward.
yeah, it's
It
one of
is
them
what it
fights.
is.
Then,
Yeah.
back to the drawing board. Move on to the next.
Yeah, to me, that's
Ain't no
what it
need
was.
for no whining and none of that.
Yeah, it is what it is, And then one thing that I just remembered, they just announced recently, 46-year-old Pac-Man on the return,
Yeah, fight Mario Barrios.
official, for
Yeah.
the WBC belt at 147.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
What do you think about that?
Whew, hopefully Pac, he had a lot of time. He's been out the ring, so hopefully he's nice and well rested and ready to go. And Mario Barrios, he's been coming back and doing his thing. So this is a big opportunity and a big payday for Barrios. I know, biggest one ever. So
Yeah.
he got to go out there and do what he got to do. You seen what Ugas did to Manny Pacquiao, so I can imagine what Barrios is gonna do.
Right.
So
I mean, he's 46.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
46.
like I said, given the age, yeah, 46.
Right.
But again, Pacquiao knows what he got himself into. He know what he signed up for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if he didn't want it, he wouldn't have done it. But he's a living legend for a reason, and he's gonna go out there to show people.
He might pull a George Foreman in his 40s and become champ.
Bernard Hopkins did it.
Oh, B-Hop did it too. That's right.
Yeah.
B-Hop did it. That's right.
Yep,
Don't
B-Hop
forget
got
B-Hop.
hot. But I'm sorry, B-Hop. But yeah, shout out to everybody. But,
Yeah, so we'll see what
yeah,
happens
it's
there.
gonna be interesting, with these upcoming fights and all these announcements. But again, for this episode, that's all we got for you guys. But like always, thank you for rocking with us. This is BTR Boxing and Boxing with Jeff. Peace.